Hey there, it's the Machine of Nonsense. I don't know the episode, it doesn't matter. It's the Nonsense of the Year Awards, day one for 2023. The best and some of the worst things that were on our screens in 2023, our third annual NOTYs. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Kayla.
Hey, hey.
We've got Aaron. Tomas.
Yo.
And Mike.
Naughty. I like to potty. Let's do it.
There it is.
Our good friend Ryan also submitted some nominations in the three categories we will be going over today, and maybe we'll have Demetrius. We don't know.
Maybe.
He might
wild card.
He's the ultimate wild card. But as I said, this is our third annual Nonsense of the Year Awards. We started with the 2021 NOTYs, and the three categories we're going over today are most disappointing, best character, and best moment. Best moment oftentimes will turn into best scene, maybe best episode, best sequence. We like to play around with that one, but it's always a good time. So I think the best way to start off this conversation is to take a look back at our past. Look back at 2021 and what won biggest disappointments, best characters, and best moment. In 2021, in the biggest disappointment category, we had E3. Recently completely killed, so
R.I.P.
a little bit of topical there.
Or one up.
The GTA trilogy remaster, a just
sucked.
Buggy mess. Deathloop, a
Deathloop.
highly touted game that was 12 minutes, just a mess of a game.
Bringing back some shit, some thoughts.
And last but certainly not least, Shang-Chi no kissy. No kissy for Shang-Chi.
Man,
that was good. What a year.
Yeah.
And what a year
what's Shang-Chi's name?
Simu Liu.
Yeah. What a...
Team's Convenience. What's up?
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy.
He's doing it, man. Maybe he might come up in this year. Best characters for 2021. We had Mayor Sheehan, of course, from East
man.
Fred Hampton from Judas and the Black Messiah.
He's a revolutionary, so I hear.
Willie Jack from Reservation Dogs.
Hell yeah, let's go 2 years.
Yelena from Black Widow, and Father Paul Pruitt from Midnight Mass.
Hell yeah.
What was Mike's? I'm sure it's coming up in moments.
Oh, it's coming up in moments, Tomas. Don't spoil it yet. Best moments of 2021 were the end of Loki season 1, the Kang the Conqueror reveal.
Didn't age well.
Oh no.
Might come up again.
Oh no.
One that did age well is What Are We Talking About? What were we arguing about in Old? M. Night Shyamalan's Old, the beach scene. Really, really poignant moment.
Good one.
Fred Hampton is a revolutionary. Best moment was I Am a Revolutionary speech by Fred Hampton in Judas and the Black Messiah. We also had the bridge battle between Echo and Jinx in Arcane. A wonderful fight sequence. We're getting season 2. In
a little while, like next year, maybe.
It's supposed to be 2024.
Like
we'll
November or something,
yeah.
Right?
We'll see.
And finally, Joe Colley's death, a.k.a. Jogurt.
Goes down smooth.
Mass. What a scene in 2021. On to 2022 in those same categories. We won't talk about Best Ensemble, a category we used in 2022 and will not use in 2023. So on to Most disappointing, we had Thor: Love and Blunder for the disappointment that was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Feels like an eternity ago.
We had Book of Boring Fett for the Book of Boba Fett.
That's pretty good. You're on your A game that year.
We had Chrono Cross Radical Downer Edition.
I hear they worked out most of the bugs.
I keep thinking, man, what could have been worse than Thor, and then it keeps getting worse.
We had Pokemon Refuses to Be Great because they do, and they continue to. Let's say refuse to be
continue
great.
to disappoint me.
And God of War Ragnarok doesn't land the plane. Were our most disappointing things in 20.
They tried again, though. They tried again.
Controversial takes.
Let's release the ending. Let's make it
Our best characters from 2022 were Naru from Prey,
Eilon,
Viserys Targaryen from House of the Dragon, Jennifer Walters from She-Hulk, Durin from Rings of Power, and Pearl from X and Pearl. She was in 2 movies, folks, in 1 year. What a character. And best moment, we had the one-shot episode of The Bear. We had the Nature of a Thing speech in God of War Ragnarok. The flare scene in The Batman, I should give it its
The Batman.
What a scene. Every Inch Counts in Barbarian. Just a wonderful sequence. And learning to let go in Tunic. Learning to cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Follow
That one
every
was
guide.
That was like my favorite.
It's very good.
I like guides. We use guides.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't want to miss anything, so like.
He don't want to miss
Aaron's favorite Aerosmith song and favorite movie of all time, Armageddon.
I watch every night before I sleep.
Yep.
That's why I start my bedtime routine at like 2 p.m. And it takes a while.
It's like a 2-hour commercial.
All right. Let's go.
Forget about those things.
Forget about it, because 2023 just happened. And we're talking about 2023, folks. We're going to do it in the same order. We're going to do most disappointing, best character, and best moment. I'll start with Ryan. Ryan submitted a list. So I'll start with his, and then we can go in whatever order we'd like. Ryan was not a fan of the movie Paint. That was his first most disappointing item.
Not a great movie. I've also seen Paint. That is the Owen Wilson, like, fake faux Bob Ross style movie.
Not as good as the what the hell was the Daniel Radcliffe one?
Weird Al.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird
Al is
that was
funny.
pretty good.
Weird Al is great.
Weird Al. Paint was not funny. It tries to be, but it's not.
The Bob Ross documentary was fantastic. What was that the year before last?
It all blurs.
Ryan,
I watch that every night. That's my routine.
Right,
so
yeah,
I have. I'm not
It
sure.
makes you upset and have nightmares. Like,
Oh no!
they treated him so badly.
Oh no!
The war was never over for Bob Ross.
Poor Bob.
Oh, poor Bob.
What else did Ryan get?
Ryan nominated The Marvels. I think the reception of
Get
The
outta
Marvels is quite
here.
disappointing. Not
agree.
necessarily the movie, but that's just
Oh, the
me.
Marvels was good.
I didn't see that one yet.
I didn't see it, but I thought it looked really good. So
Yeah.
and I like those
Cutting that
characters.
out. That does not get on our list.
Fun.
Whoa!
Marvels is a fun movie, and I think it's a throwback to a MCU of yesteryear.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Starfield is Ryan's third nomination. A lot of people were disappointed in Starfield. That's an IGN 7 out of 10 for Starfield, and the game that was supposed to say
had those numbers ready.
Starfield is better than a 7, but perfectly fine to be disappointed.
Who's paying you to say that, Eric?
Big Todd Howard. Yeah, big.
Okay.
Big
Big Howard.
TM. Yeah, Big Todd.
TM.
Howard.
God Howard.
Secret Invasion. Let's just say I 100% agree with Ryan on this. Secret Invasion was trash.
Hulu exclusive? I mean, Come on, guys.
Witcher Season 3 was the final nomination for Ryan. And he
That
put
happened.
honorable trash mention Velma,
Did.
the show, but I'm not
Ooh.
writing that down.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't watch it. There's
You thought the
Fucking-
Marvels was worse than Velma?
Apparently.
He did.
You know, Ryan's a silly boy. He didn't. You know, maybe he meant the reception to the Marvels. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
all the
This is
bros
just
online.
his tryout.
Allow
for the
that on the
Menfenders.
list.
He's really trying.
behind between the lines. Yeah.
He's trying for the men fenders. I love it.
maybe there's a lot of alt right wing people who wrote about that movie a lot.
Oh, of course.
YouTube.
Let me just tell you,
There's too many women.
Kamala
for them.
Khan is fantastic.
Yes.
I'm saying.
And you get to
guys
see
ever
her
played
do funny
the-
shit for like an hour and a half. It's great.
Oh,
Did you play the Avengers, the game at all? I played it
No.
a little bit, and the only good parts of it are her. She's
Right.
such a good
She's
character.
great.
She's so cool. People don't like her because she's Muslim, she's Middle Eastern, and she's a woman.
and her family ties are so fun.
Yeah, it's
Like her family is in the movie, and they're great.
well. As soon as you see the trailer for that movie, and there weren't any
The trailer's fantastic too.
They're gonna. You knew everybody was gonna be like, "Oh, this is just woke Disney again."
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Women shouldn't
Allison
be allowed
Brie.
to be in anything.
or not Allison Brie. What's her name?
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
There you go.
Oh man,
Yeah,
put
that's
it-
great.
put it
People
on
got
Disney
issues
for
with
Marvels,
her.
though, I wish.
Yeah, they should.
I wish
It's
she's
a
too
character,
sexy
it's a
for
superhero.
Alright.
Disney.
Most disappointing,
little.
the woke Disney.
Yeah.
there we go.
He's wild card.
Allison Brie will be in the MCU one day.
Is that Community season 7?
Who's up next?
Oh, I thought you were gonna assign us.
Oh, Aaron's next to me on the Discord call, so we'll go with Aaron.
He's diagonal up from you and mine.
Me too. Yeah, I see him. I'm diagonally up from him too. But anyway,
Right
we're doing
above him.
disappointing. My number one is Final Fantasy 16.
Ooh.
So the beginning of the game is, if you guys remember, I was really excited for it. It was fantastic,
Yeah.
and it never gets any better. It's just that the battle system gets more and more dull and repetitive. And the story gets more and more dull and repetitive, and the monsters just get more dull and repetitive. There's no exploring, even though they try to make it look like it is, because it's just wide open areas with nothing to find. There's treasure everywhere that you can see and go pick it up, but it's always useless crafting items when the crafting system is almost barely used in the game. It's just an awfully made, awfully balanced game.
Ooh.
It's
Wow.
the beginning.
Digs.
It looks fantastic. That's what it's
Okay.
going for. It looks
Hell yeah.
fantastic,
Good coat of
Lots
paint.
It's fantastic nowadays.
but it's just a shiny turd. It's,
Like- Like the Great
It
British
is
Bake Off, Aaron, it's like when the outside of the cake looks really good and then it's super stodgy on the inside.
right? Yeah, they gotta get
Yeah.
spongy, man. Get spongy.
Yeah.
But
Oof.
it's just not like, I don't know. I just tried playing it. I literally was. I can look at how like the PlayStation now will tell you how far into the game you are. I'm like at 85 or 90%. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to play this anymore. It's
You can
not
live
fun.
without it.
Like I
That's
had
rough.
no interest in where the story
And-
was going.
Aaron, you are a completionist. You
Yes.
like to do it all.
I get obsessed.
Good
I'm
point.
actually replaying Final Fantasy VII Remake now just because Rebirth
Ooh.
is coming.
Free game.
And I'm still making sure I do every mission,
Scrubbing that
every
shit.
item, maximizing every materia. Like that's how I do stuff. In this game, it's just the skill tree is pointless. You get so many points to update like your little abilities, and then it doesn't matter because you can always just reassign them as you fight enemies. And there's like
Well,
15 moves, and only like 4 of them are fucking worth it. And it's all about spamming your moves as fast as you can. Not anything fun at all. So
Well,
That's
Front
good.
Runner.
Really similar to 15.
Hey,
Like a lot of what you said about
it
16.
makes me like 15 more.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
15 didn't have a good 15 didn't have a,
whoa.
because 15 didn't have a good story at all. It starts with 4 dudes pushing a car, and that's all it ever is.
Yes. Yes.
But like the side quests and the exploring are fantastic in 15. It's just the characters and the story that suck.
Okay.
And then in this, it's just everything. So, except for maybe Sid, but whatever.
What about Mid?
Ooh.
What?
Pretty
Sid
mid.
and
Did
Mid.
have a daughter named Mid in the game?
You know what? Actually, I like
It was-
her a lot. His daughter is pretty great. It's him who sucks.
All right.
You know what's funny?
Best character.
I'm literally replaying Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster, and Sid is also in this game. He's in every game, but Mid is. I'm hearing now that Mid is gender swapped because Mid is in 5 as his nephew.
Whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
God, we got
pretty cool.
woke Marvel.
Woke
We got
Square
woke
Enix.
Square Enix. What is going on here? All right.
My second most disappointing is the mid to end game Hogwarts Legacy.
Ooh.
Because that's another one where if you're in the castle, it's so good, and then once you get into the Scottish Highlands, it's repetitive. Like they're like, oh, there's 100 of these things you got to solve the puzzle for. Well, guess what? It's the same 4 puzzles 100 times. And that's the game. Once you leave Hogwarts, that game is not good because the story wasn't very good to begin with. And then once you leave Hogwarts, it's just like, oh, here's some more hills with random goblins on it. So cool.
Man, you played the fuck out of that game too, huh?
I did.
The world did. It was the best-selling game of 2023.
I was glitched out of getting 100%, and I never went back and finished it after they fixed the glitch. So
See, now I know
He
why.
So
yeah, well, that matters. Okay.
yeah.
My next disappointing is The Exorcist.
Ooh.
I thought the trailers looked fantastic, and then I watched it, and it was really fucking bad. So
Didn't stick the landing.
it is like
What did-
beginning, middle, or
What
end.
did you
Really.
think
Oh no.
of horror year overall, Aaron?
What?
How did you feel about horror overall for 23?
I liked it. A lot of the small ones
Yeah.
were good. A lot of the small
Okay.
horror was great. It Lives Inside, fantastic. Boogeyman was pretty good. What's her name from Yellow Jackets did a fantastic job in that. She carried her dad's weight 'cause her dad wasn't the best actor, but she carried it. Sophie, whatever, I forget her last name. Those were both really good.
What's the
No One
subtitle
Will
on
Save
The
You,
Exorcist?
so good.
On The Exorcist.
I forget.
The Believer or something? Or?
Yeah, it's the whole thing is just like oh my god, you believe in these Catholic rites aren't going to save us. Maybe if we do other random religion exorcisms, we can be saved. Like, it's silly. It's not.
So it didn't live up to Pope's Exorcist? How was that one compared?
I only watched
Russell
the
Crowe
one.
Russell Crowe.
I'm sure they're on par with each other. I'm sure.
It's just called Exorcist Believer. What a title.
It's just because I thought it was going to be so cool because it's like the two kids are they're possessed at the same time and they sort of have to make a choice and what choice
possession.
This is actually another one where I suppose you could say the wokeness is ruining movies.
Oh, no.
You know what choice the white parents are making? They're saving their own kid.
Well,
Guess
yeah.
what choice the black parents are making? They're trying to save both.
Oh
And
my
then they go
God.
to like Santa Maria or some other island
Santa Maria.
religion to exercise it, and it's just they tried really hard. The acting from the two girls was fantastic, and that's why the trailers look so good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good splicing.
Next most disappointing, which is my last because I didn't have 5.
Hell yeah.
Pet Sematary. I don't know if you guys read the book or watched the original movies.
Watch the original.
It tries to do the story from when Judd is young, and it does really badly because that part of the story is sort of gone into a little detail in the books, and it explains what happens. And then they show, and in this movie, there's just major plot holes if you have to hold it up to the original movies or books. Like the first thing he ever says to that family basically is, "Oh, I buried my dog in Pet Cemetery and he came back." Yet in this movie, Judd's like 18, about to go to the army, and he has no fucking clue how the Pet Cemetery works. Even though he's said he's used it in the other things.
This is not
Round,
Judd
right?
Nelson, right?
Basically.
Did Stephen King write any kind of other Pet Cemetery stuff, or is this just
No, I believe he only wrote the original.
right?
The
So
original.
this,
It's not like The Shining and
okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Sleep.
What was it? Dr.
Dr.
Sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Underrated. I like that movie.
I like Dr.
Dr.
Sleep.
Sleep more than I like The Shining. So there's that.
Dr. Sleep was good.
Dr. Sleep is really good.
I enjoyed it.
The director's cut's real good.
It's like evil X-Men. It's fantastic.
Evil like
disappointing.
Pet Cemetery Bloodlines.
Shinning.
That's the
Yeah, it's just not. It didn't turn out to be a good movie. Like the acting wasn't good, the story wasn't good. It didn't look that good. Like there wasn't much to it. They made it into like a weird, angry zombie kind of thing. It's not good.
There you go.
Well, Mike, you are next up in line of Mike.
Right.
He's under.
I was telling Eric before, like, had a kind of rough time coming up with 5 things I was disappointed this year. So good on the year. Most of the time there's quite a bit. But I'm gonna start with a Marvel one, and it's a very specific one. Do you guys remember a character named Quaz from Ant-Man Quantumania?
No, not even a little bit.
I didn't see
Yeah,
Is that Cheaty?
Yes, that is the character played by William Jackson Harper, who is Cheaty on The Good Place. And he's in Ant-Man for like 5 seconds and like has a really cool ability, and he's a really great actor, and he's really funny, and he's like something the MCU could really benefit from right now. And he just never comes back in the film. And they give shitty face MODOK like 30 more minutes to fucking be on screen. And they give, I'm sure now they would not want to give Jonathan Majors as much time as they give, and so on and so forth. Bill Murray, weird character, gets more time than Quaz in that movie. And
He might get the same amount of time as Paul Rudd, though.
yeah. And Quantumania sucked. I did not like.
I put Quasno Screeny.
Thank you.
I think that's appropriate.
My number 4, another one, kind of specific one. Resident Evil 4 remake, a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I think certain sections of it are even better than the original. The castle section is not. I think they kind of ruined the castle in the remake a bit, and specifically the water room. In the original Resident Evil 4, the water room is like a real test. I feel like you walk in and there's like these 4 like plank ways you can walk down, but there's like an enemy at the end of every one, and they all got shields and shit and fucking flails and stuff that they're fucking at you, and it's just really difficult place to like. Ashley like gets kidnapped or killed every time. It's just like really difficult spot.
It's hard hiding people,
and it's just iconic. It's just an iconic room for me in that game, and I know how to like master that room now. And I really didn't like how that room was. It's like weird. You get separated from Ashley like before it even like starts, I think. And you have to just deal with a ton of those like big head burster snake thing like that come out, and it's just like I don't know. I did not like the castle part that much in remake. My number 3 is Microsoft waving the white flag. Just kind of they've had a really really weird year. They start off really good with like that they're introducing this new developer direct thing that they do. They shadow drop Hi-Fi Rush, which everyone kind of universally like just loved right away. And then they just had like all these flubs with like layoffs and all of this stuff with the Activision buying of, and then they Redfall comes out and is just like a really big bummer. Like that was one of the games Microsoft was touting, like this is going to be one of our tentpole releases of the year. It's like scored like a 57 or something like that. And Phil Spencer, like the day after the game comes out, basically goes on Kind of Funny for this interview and has just really a bizarre things to like you're really saying this right now, like saying like, yeah, we can't really compete with Nintendo and Sony.
That's,
you know, we lost the most important generation to lose because everyone was like developing these digital libraries of games and didn't want to move away from those libraries. And I think that's a good point, but not a point you really bring up. And on top of that, like there was a hack with a lot of or not even a hack from the trial. Like a lot of information on Microsoft's part was not protected or something, or like not deleted from the public archive or whatever. And it was a lot of like weird stuff of like, you know, we'd want to buy Nintendo, but that's a silly idea. These are the exclusives we'd want to pay for, but Baldur's Gate 3 game of the year, we would, you know, that's like a C tier game or something like that they claimed. And then fast forward to the game releasing, it's a huge hit. They can't even release the game on their fucking platform because it won't work on their two-headed system with the Series X and Series S. They couldn't get the co-op to work on the S. And then you have Starfield kind of being a flop. Ryan had that on his most disappointed. And yeah, just a terrible year where you should have just been Sony and just close your walls and not say anything ever, I guess would just be better.
Do you think they thought that threatening to do things like make Elder Scrolls exclusive would bring more buyers than actually releasing good games? Like they thought people they had to own an Xbox for when these games come out, so they would boost their sales more than just games.
Well, they're really not worried about their like the box anymore. Like they really just want to try. They think this cloud streaming thing is going to, and from what I've used it works really well. Like you'll just be able to have Game Pass through a little dongle on your TV or just through your TV. I think Samsung TVs now can just download Game Pass through that. And
Crazy.
I don't know. They're the ones where like, okay, Sony and Nintendo, they still, you know, hardware is what they're focused on. And Microsoft's trying to do, I don't know. They're just trying to figure it out. I don't know if I don't know if their plan's going to work.
Yeah, they're trying to put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah, but you can't invent the curve. Like they've tried to.
They're just to run through a TV, so I don't.
They've tried to do it before, you know, when they tried to force online only console and did, you know, no sharing of games or anything like that, and they paid the price for that, and they still are.
Big blunder. Yep.
And just I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I don't even know why Microsoft as a whole, like, you know, the whole entity likes the Xbox brand. Like, I don't know why it's even still a thing. I don't think the Xbox brand has ever made Microsoft money. So we'll see. I don't know. Kayla, sorry, I cut you off.
More to be revealed.
I feel like just last night I saw like a quote, and it might have been from Xbox, that like users need to get used to the idea of not owning
Ubisoft
their games.
Yeah. Ubisoft
said that.
Yeah, but that's the idea. I think, you know, Ubisoft said it, but like that is the Game Pass idea as well of like, everything being a subscription, basically. I think that's
them going all in on Game Pass. I think is a strong idea. I don't know financially how well that's working for them. They haven't announced how many Game Pass users in like years. They haven't like said that.
Really?
They haven't announced console sales in longer than that. So
Oh wow.
I don't think
That's an interesting thought.
yeah.
Well,
So
I already buy all my games like digitally, which is all right. But
Yeah.
I will say that as somebody whose PlayStation Plus expired and I just haven't gotten it back, it is really frustrating when I go to play a game and it's like, oh, well, apparently I was playing that game through PS Plus. Like
yeah.
I bought all of the expansions for XCOM 2, but apparently I don't own the base game
Oh.
because I was just playing it through PS Plus. So like, I do think that subscription thing is annoying. So like, so you have to get used to not owning your game. Like, well, it was on there for like the 2 years I had it, and now I just don't have it, and I can't play any of my games. And it'd be one thing if it was still like offered at a normal price, but if you go and you look at the games that are all offered through like PS Plus, and you try to buy them, XCOM, a game that's what, like over 10 years old, like
Yeah.
it's $40 something on the
Holy
PlayStation
shit.
Store. So clearly, if I really want it, I'm just gonna pay for a year of PS Plus. Like,
Yeah.
it's all of the games are like that because I went back on a few of them. I'm like, oh, I'll play this. I didn't know what I wanted to play before I bought Like a Dragon when it's coming out soon. Yeah, it's every game that's on PS Plus. They've just jacked the price up, so it's not worth it to buy it. And I can understand like thinking a subscription service saves, time, money, whatever. But if you're using like the actual store to manipulate people into buying it, I think that's really frustrating.
Well, it's
fucked
disappointing.
up.
Subscription services. There we go.
That's very valid. Yes. All right. That was my number 3. My number 2, we're going to go with games again and the Game Awards. Overall, some of you might not agree with me, but just the show overall, I had no problem with like who won or whatever. Just the production of it. The choices just to give like the acceptors like their speeches like just less than 30 seconds sometimes. Like they'd get up there and like they'd be able to just give a thank you, and then immediately it seemed music was playing for them. And then just to be met by 7 trailers in a row. And usually I'm all for that. I'm all for the E3, give me trailers. I think there has to be a better balance. There was so much, and a lot of it just blends together. And I would have rather have heard, I would rather have seen and heard, because they didn't even get to go on stage to accept this award. It was one of the, I'm going to rattle off 10 things right now that Keeley does. And that was Best RPG, or no, Best Indie, I believe. And Sea of Stars won that, and one of my favorite games of the year. And I would have loved to seen 2 or 3 people from the team go up there and be excited and say how thankful and how great it was to be there.
Best Indie is like a big one.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I know Keeley is really doing his best. I know he's kind of the he's mayor of video gamedom at the moment. And I just think he needs to do a better job. I know he is good about listening to feedback and trying his best to change it, but
You think this was
he's in a tough spot.
Do you think it's an overcorrection? Maybe he was listening to feedback about, say, Chris Judge's speech the year before. Where he just went on and on and on. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to cut everybody short.
Yeah.
Gotta be a better balance.
That is a
like
huge overcorrection that he made. Then I think you're right, Aaron. But like, it was crazy. Like the winner of
it is an award show at the end of the day.
Game of the year gets cut off, and like the guy from Larian Studios goes on to tweet what he would have said, and it was a really well thought out and wonderful speech that he didn't get to give. And
Larian for they should have been given the time to speak.
Yeah, it
The
was
guy
Game's
wore
like
a
the biggest
suit
thing
of
in gaming
art.
right now.
yeah, I think it was an overcorrection plus an overcorrection of like, oh, we don't want anyone to run on stage, so if we're only on stage for 40 seconds, like no
I
one
think
Yeah.
that's a good point too.
I think it's
that
those things, but it's an overcorrection without a doubt. Like it's bad.
I
Bad.
don't,
Maybe they'll
I don't
I
fix
know.
just
it
hope
Happy
that they
Medium
keep
next year.
trying because it might not be perfect, but man, I want some type of show that does award these things, and I do get to see trailers, and I want that. I just don't want it to disappear like E3.
Right.
I don't think it's like going to that way. I think the viewership keeps rising every year, and these people are paying, like these companies are paying money to Keeley to be a part of it.
Right.
Like I think that it is financially good. Like
Well, I guess maybe the indie people didn't pay their share. I don't know.
man,
fucked up.
it's just a bummer when it was over. And I know it was very cool to have Kojima there and to have Jordan Peele there and to
Yeah.
present a new game, but they were given a lot of time. A lot
Yes.
of
Yes.
time. And it didn't need to be that way. In the past, Kojima's just, been there via satellite and shit. Like, but
Right.
I don't know. Give
Man.
the time to people who actually made games this year. Like,
Right. That's what we're here for.
When Kojima's game comes out, he can have the time. But right now, let's give it to Larry and let's give it to all of those teams that gave us great stuff.
Here.
I was really excited at that time. I wish it was shorter. Good point. But man, I was really proud of myself as soon as that like dun, little went off. I was like, that's us. It's Jordan Peele. And boom, Jordan Peele came out. I was like, oh shit. Look at me. It's
Great
exciting.
call, because even
moment for
after he was
myself.
out, I'm like, who is? Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
that.
I didn't catch it in the moment at all.
Peele
And the
looks
door,
much
oh.
older now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Just a fun, quick little announcement. Like, that could have taken, a quick little bit, a fun
Yeah,
little skit.
they all just take turns. Like, this guy's the best, Kojima. That's it. Like, we all know. Come on, we're all here because of that guy. For a lot of us, like we get it. I don't know. It just year after year of that happening, it gets old.
Yeah.
And my number one is a TV show, a little show called Castlevania Nocturne.
Oh, there it is.
One of my most anticipated things of the year. We gave a lot of love to the original series. Our first year, I think, was the final season of Castlevania. Really great season, really great animation, amazing moments in that season. And this season is just a trailer for or another Castlevania show. Ultimately, I don't want to spoil if someone has it on Best Moments, because it is a cool moment at the end of this show, but it is all just build up for this character reveal, re-reveal basically. And the animation of the show I thought was lacking, except for the first episode and the last episode. And just the character decision and development is not there. I think there's really cool group of characters, similar to Trevor and Sypha, and just I don't know. They just decided to keep them in these three spots. They only animate for like the cabin, the little like jail area under the church, and those are only three areas you go to in the show. And it's just the characters. I'm gonna go back there and beat them this time. Nah, bro, you're not. That person died now because you made that stupid decision. And that is the whole show, I feel. And like, you have Richter Belmont, like iconic ass cool character, and I wasn't feeling it. I did not feel like Richter lived up to anything from those, Rondo of Blood or any of that stuff that he was in. And Just a bummer. I definitely will keep watching whatever they have, but man, this was not it. Not it for me at all.
I kept telling myself like this is just getting started. They're scrap and start. So hopefully it'll just grow. It'll just get better.
Do you remember that first season of Castlevania?
So I may have been.
I know you kind of blew through, like you ate it up.
Right, I watched it all. So it was all great. It was all great.
Yeah, in comparison, like
I thought the creatures were creepy and cool, and
there were some very cool designs. Yes. Yeah. And they do a good job of bringing in new plus classic Castlevania designs. But, nah.
Big was cool.
They let Legion out the gate too early, Mike. Original series.
Well, no, like, there's still so many cool things to do. There's a lot. I don't anticipate some some great shit like in a season 3 or a season 4 like they did with the previous, but give me some, like, you got to give me the breadcrumb trail, and there's no bread. There ain't no bread.
At the very end of
the crumb. Oh, ain't no crumbs. No. But anyway, that's my list. That's my list. Right. Thank you.
Solid. I'll go next. Why not?
Solid bads.
Solid bads. Yeah. I threw. If you guys are for the video people, you'll see. But if you guys aren't checking out my shared screen, I threw Final Fantasy 16 up to the top just because that was a very impassioned argument.
I like it. Yeah,
and
very
I
good.
think
Yeah.
I think Mike made some good arguments too there. Okay, I've got as my number 5 the final mission of Viewfinder, a game that overall I very much did enjoy. A real vibes game until the final mission. For whatever reason, they decide to make it
it was a time
trial, which the entire game is like a slow moving, very much vibes, very much like matchup. If you don't remember Viewfinder at all, you're in a kind of a Sublime type world where you have various cameras that can capture images of the world and then use them as physical spaces. So you can take a picture of a ladder or a staircase or something, take that picture and superimpose it on another area in the game, and now you have a ladder to climb or something like that. Really awesome concept, executed really, really well. Good, like I keep saying, it's a vibes game, just a very slow-moving kind of puzzly type of experience. And then they
lots of light bulb moments where you're like, oh, shit, like, oh.
Yeah. And really, really good. Really cool. And then they decide to give you like a 4-minute timer or something to quickly blow through the final mission. And I think it just like flies in the face of like what that game is about. Like there's a narrative aspect to why you're on a timer or whatever, but I think they could have done something else or just I don't know. It didn't need to be. And it really left a poor taste in my mouth because it's the only time you could fail also in that game, really. Like the game doesn't really have a fail safe. There's like a rewind option that is like you can use at any time.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you played this game for the first 5 hours or whatever in a certain way, and then they're like, something different completely and something completely opposite. Not just different, but like opposite of what you've been doing. And I thought it was a disappointment.
That's a weird skill check to just kind of have in a game like that.
It was just some weird decision making. I don't know.
Portal never does that, like just do what Portal does.
Yeah. I mean, very much like it feels like Portal in throughout most of the game, honestly, and you feel real smart, like Kayla said, light bulb moments and stuff, and then it's just like brute forcing your way through that final mission, really.
Because sometimes it's so simple of like, damn, I can't reach that thing that's right there. But if you just take a picture of it and put it down. Boom. And it's like, you're like racking your brain. How do I get up there? How do I create this ladder? When like, you can do it a million different ways, but you could just take a picture of it and put it close to you.
Yeah.
Cool game.
My number 4 is video games forget how to end, and this is a good time to mention, I didn't mention it at the top, that spoilers are allowed in all this. We'll try to...
You're going to have to add a bumper at the beginning.
Yeah, I will. I'll add something. But I have to kind of sort of do some spoilery stuff in this discussion here. So
Do it.
You know, move forward if anyone listening, watching, whatever. But Alan Wake 2, a game that I loved and will be talking more about, forgets how to actually like end a game, you know, like it's in a lot of ways that Nocturne is an advertisement for future content. Alan Wake 2's ending is very much that. Sea of Stars, a game that I liked, forces you to do a collectible hunt to get the true ending of the game. A pretty like huge, big, like poignant thing, and with extra bosses and stuff. Starfield decided to create a...
You have to play it for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it hides a ton of its really, really cool content behind having to play it multiple, like many times. And I think I had another example, but anyway, just a lot. It just seemed like a lot of the games that I like overall did enjoy playing this year, just did not know how to actually wrap up a narrative or give me just like a satisfying conclusion. Multiple endings in games in general, I'm not a huge fan of, but like hiding things behind having to like play through a whole game again, or ending your game on like not even a cliffhanger, but just like hey, we didn't finish the story kind of thing at all, and we're like, but there's gonna be more, just you wait and see. Like that just
Spider-Man does that.
It leaves a bad taste in some ways for me. So it just seemed like it happened a lot this year.
We can't all be Chrono Trigger, man.
I love a game with a good ending. I think you got to stick the landing, right? And
see, that was the thing. Chrono Trigger had an ending, but then all the other endings were just, you know, they're sprinkled out. They weren't the main, you know, but you could find them.
Yeah.
Ooh, good one.
My number 3 is the actor-writer strike. I support the ability to strike, folks. I want our writers and our actors to be paid.
No, you don't.
I do. I want them to be
forming a union.
However,
I want Andor now. Damn it.
Yes.
See how you do your pod without us, Henry.
Oh God, I'm being
Denis
canceled
Villeneuve,
live.
give me Dune 2.
But you guys have just named, like because of this, we're missing out on so much, and it's thrown a real wrench in a lot of productions. Things have just gotten really muddy and really messy, and everything. 2024 is going to be 2023 was a weird second half because of this, and 2024 will also be weird. There's just a lot of things with nebulous release dates, and stuff like that, and it's hard to like build a podcast or around this stuff, guys. I want release dates. I want to know when my Dune 2 is going to be here. I want it.
It's going to be a heavy game year,
We'll get to that. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But,
I couldn't draft half my games because
I'm happy that the actors and writers got contracts that they like. But I think we'll be feeling the effects of that. I wish they had been paid proactively, and didn't have to strike.
I actually think it turned out a little better than that strike that happened in like 2007.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like every show I was watching back then got canceled because of the strike. Like,
Yeah.
Pushing Daisies, which at the time was popular, but they're like, oh, we're just not going to write another season for this.
That has happened though. Like at least studios have used that even in this like strike as a excuse. There's some of it is a little bit like, oh yeah, were you going to cancel it anyway? But like you're using it like as a negotiating tactic kind of thing.
Right.
But it happened here too. Like there were shows and productions and stuff that did at least the producers like came out on the record and said like, oh, you know, if we could have got this production out, you know, 6 months ago, it would have not been canceled. That kind of shit did happen.
Right.
So,
and then whenever I hear that, it just sounds to me like, oh yeah, it's our fault. It didn't come out then because we refused to pay them what they're worth and didn't want to update their pay structure from 15 years ago.
Pay these people.
Right. Like
I pay like. Feel like we pay as consumers. We're all deep in, so it's out there. Just spread it, share the wealth.
I feel like I get an email every other month from Netflix saying like, oh, you know, pretty soon we're going to raise the price by $1, and they keep raising it by $1.
Fucking everything. It's all the streaming services, my goddamn internet, all of my bills.
Well, they track me to the higher subscription because like I just want to have like the whatever HD like access on Netflix. I don't necessarily need like 6 screens, but they don't have an access of like 1 or 2 screens and then also the HD.
And some of the things they were fighting
for
like
$23 a month for something that doesn't even release shows that much.
Right. Yeah, and that's the streamers are, you know, a big part of why the actors and writers were striking, just because like, yeah, they're not getting residuals. They're you know, AI is a big talking point, you know, you know. So it was needed, you know.
Terminators.
But the ramifications of you know everything is we're going to be feeling it for, you know, years. And then in 5 years they're going to have a battle on their hands again. So we'll see.
Lack of effort. That's my new disappointment.
Yes, very much so. Number 2 on my list is the mass layoffs in the video game industry. Just to really, I think layoffs suck anytime. Like the video game industry has always had a bad, like they staff up for games and stuff like that for these big productions and have people working on them for years and years, and then they just let thousands and thousands of people go. It's been a like issue in the industry forever, but juxtaposed next to the fact that like arguably this has been one of the best years for video game releases, like for the quality of video games in maybe ever, or you know, it's a top 5 all time or something year in video games. But then you juxtapose that with like tens of thousands of people who worked on these phenomenal games be like losing their jobs and everything else, and studios complaining that like, oh yeah, we sold 10 million copies, but that was not enough to keep these people employed, or, you know, stuff like that. Our projections were 20 million copies, or, you know, whatever. It's those two things just next to each other are just ridiculous. It makes your head spin. It really does.
I feel like every episode of What Happened that I watch about like a poor game development, and like just it's usually just like the execs and the high ups like finger being so far from the pulse of like the realism of like game sales from like a previous game going forward. Like none of these motherfuckers are in the trench. They just want the cash. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Fuck them all.
And I think a lot of it is just companies trying to chase trends just way too late.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can do. Everyone wants to be a Fortnite or some kind of games of service.
Yeah.
And that bubble is bursting right now.
Big burst.
Even like you see the layoffs that Bungie has to do, and you would think like, wait, the Destiny developer has to have layoffs, but yeah, like they just, you know, aim for the moon, and that's just not where where the scene's at right now. And
Nope. I literally watched it in real time.
And then 1,000
Like,
people have to deal with the consequences of like
Right.
some
Yeah.
decisions made by 5 people in a boardroom. You know.
Yep.
I really love the game.
All right,
industry.
those guys.
I like knowing all about. I like to know every aspect of it, really. And it's just a shame that it seems it's just a nightmare to work in that industry, like from the development side to the journalism side. It's just such a bummer because it's a miracle that these things come out and are great. And these are the people that really are the ones doing that. And it's the chuckle fucks up at the top that get these golden parachutes and they don't care. And it's such a bummer.
Very disappointing, one might say.
Man, that got depressing.
Yeah, right.
Small category.
I
is
love that
depressing.
we start with most disappointing to really like bring the mood down for everyone listening, and then they never end up getting to best character or best moment.
Nope.
My final one I shared with Ryan. Secret Invasion I thought was a goddamn mess. So I've bolded it, and I'm gonna move it to the number 2 spot early on here in our list.
Double up.
I mean, it doesn't require a ton. Like, you had a show with like Olivia Colman, Samuel Jackson, Daenerys Targaryen. I can't think. Emilia Clarke.
Clarke.
You know,
Mother of Dragons.
Oh, what's the dude?
Ben Mendelsohn. The guy from Barbie.
French dude.
Who's
French?
kind of the standout.
yeah. The bad guy.
The bad guy.
Yeah,
I cannot
he's
think
good
of his
in
name.
Secret Invasion. Real good.
Yeah, he's
Kingsley
Kingsley Benadire. Yes, thank you.
Kingsley Benadire.
Really tries to bring the show up. Olivia Colman's okay.
They're good.
But it really feels like everyone else is kind of phoning it in, and no one can save this show. And it's such a cool concept too, but like you can just see
It really is.
you could just feel the seam so much of like, man, we want to do Secret Invasion, but we should have probably done this like 10 years ago when we could have any of like the Avengers that matter or whatever, or do it 10 years from now when you've got X-Men or whatever. I don't know, but now wasn't the right time. It was just bad. It was like kind of no redeeming qualities almost like.
And you introduce this character in Gaia. It was Ben Mendelsohn's daughter, played by Emilia Clarke. And at the end of the series, you give her every power, basically, and now she's just like an omnipotent fucking. Like,
she's a what if character. Yeah.
Do anything. Yeah.
Should have just saved it for what if.
Marvel is a mess.
It is.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. It's like all the stories are already written. I think they just try to put too many like mainline stories in a single like phase, or trying to do too much shit like parallel to each other. Like it's just pick one through line, man. Stick to it. Sprinkle little things here and there. It doesn't need to all be done. Like comics have had so much more breathing room in between their major storylines. You don't need to get it all out in like 5 years. It's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Secret Invasion was poo-poo bad.
Poo-poo bad.
Too bad.
Bad.
Can I go next?
Yeah,
I want
you are
to hand
next
them off.
on my screen at least.
All right. I'm going to start off with Marvel in general. It just hasn't been a great year for them. Quality of their stuff isn't great. You can leave the woke Disney shit aside. Trust me, I hear enough about it in my state. But,
Oh yes.
Bless your
yeah,
heart.
yeah, I know. It's we out here in the Badlands. I'm out here trying to drain the swamp.
God.
Gross.
Got swamp ass 24/7. I don't know, man. Just like I think it all started last year with Thor, and it's just kind of been, hearing all of your guys' takes. Like everybody had some kind of Marvel take. It seemed like prior to my list, and
Yes.
yeah. So just an overall blanket.
Yeah. You know whose power guy I didn't get? Quaz's, because they fucking forgot about Quaz.
Quaz no screeny.
Bullshit.
Quaz no screeny. There we go. Let's see. I put down. These are in no particular order, by the way. I wrote down that animated Scott Pilgrim show. Okay.
Oh, I like it.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but like it was just meh.
Really?
I watched it. I watched it all in a single taking. I was, had an injury, and I was like, I'm gonna take a personal day, and I'm just sitting in my room, laptop. I'm like, let's watch this. It's only like 8 episodes, 22 minutes, bite size. Finished it before lunch, and I was like, man, I wanted to be way more impressed by that. All the original, cast, voice actors. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't great, and that disappointed me.
Yeah, hell yeah. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is what that one's called, right? Yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie when it came out. And I don't know, maybe that's what I was expecting. Hard to catch lightning in a bottle, especially that many years afterwards, but yeah, disappointing for me at least. Then my last 3 are all just kind of like more personal to me, so I won't go on to them too much. So the Persona collection was like released this year too. They did Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5. You can argue that Persona 5 and Persona 4 were released in their best forms, Royal and Golden. But for Persona 3, and mind you, the remake is coming out this year.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about last year. They released the PSP mobile version of Persona 3 in this collection, and it is hot doo-doo. And they already have like a better version of Persona 3 that came out. I think it was like Fez, which was like the game plus like an after story with more content. So it's like all these games come out and then they release the polished version like 2 years afterwards. And that's always been like the baseline for these these games, and they just didn't do that for 3. They didn't give 3 that shine that it should have had, and I was really looking forward, because I hadn't played that game since I was in high school, and it's probably why I'm excited for the remaster. But yeah,
the remaster's not going to have the Fez stuff either.
I don't know if it is, but it's like, if you've played the mobile version, Mike, it sucks. Like it's all it's click. It's right. Like I'm not running around. I'm not interacting with environments. The only run around actual part is the dungeon crawling. It might as well have just been an old Shin Megami Tensei game where I'm like going through a grid to go through a dungeon for the rest of it. But yeah.
I think like say. Because they're not going to have the option to be a female main character in the remaster. Yeah. And I think that's really tone deaf for like the audience of these games that just loves that option. Like that is what people want from this game. Like
I'm sure there's a whole entire subreddit about like the female protagonist and the choice, because that's the one thing. People make the argument that that's why they released the portable version, because you can choose the female protagonist.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's really such a small thing, and I don't know, man. Fucking, I guess that's my hot take. Fucking. And then next one I wrote down. This one's for you, Aaron. Fire Emblem Engage.
I forgot about that. I meant to put it on my list. So
it's there, baby. Don't worry. We got
That's another one I didn't finish. I played a lot of it, and it just
same here. I think it's
Fire Emblem beans.
First Fire. I think it's the first Fire Emblem I've played to date that I did not finish.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So bad. And then hearing Aaron's takes on it too, just kind of like, it's like, man, this motherfucker's spitting, putting this game down.
Well, I hope Genealogy of the Los Enfants Terribles or whatever is good for you guys.
Well, it's a remake of a ready-made game, from what I understand. So they already got a groundwork. But remake to Japan, not a remake to us, because we didn't get like the first 8 Fire Emblems in America. So
who's
Roy?
right?
Go back on some of those early Fire Emblems and re-release them. It'd be cool to have Sacred Stones, or even Shadow Dragon from 3DS or the
3DS Shadow Dragon.
To put it on something like the Switch now, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, super doable.
They'll do it.
Easy. Give me the collection.
The 2 from the GameCube.
Those games are fucking good. The Ike ones.
They're impossible to find.
Radiant Dawn.
They released a few of them in the US, and so most copies in the world are just Japanese. You almost have to play the ROMs to play them.
Right.
We don't condone that behavior here.
Oh yeah, only if you already own the game.
Yes.
Do not pirate.
Give me a collection. Everybody's doing it. It's the hot new trend. Come on, baby.
Nintendo.
All right. Then my last thing is, and it's another video game thing, and it's another RPG video game thing, and yes, I'm going to beat this into the ground. So the Pixel Remaster games were released on consoles as opposed to Steam this year.
Final Fantasy 1 through 6.
1 through 6. And they released them. They're great, don't get me wrong. I like the games. It's a fun way to play. But in the interim of the original games coming out to now, we've had Game Boy Advance remakes. They've added new dungeons, extra content, re-releases prior. And these are just the brass tacks, bare bones, original versions of these games. At least an update patch, something fucking, it's it couldn't have been that hard to add that extra content into these games. An extra dungeon here and there. All the shit's already there. You got the stuff. Just fucking, for a price of $15 for a game you've already released 5 times already. Just give me all the content,
So Final Fantasy 6 Advance still the best way to play it.
I mean, the advanced games aren't perfect either, because the text is pretty awful. It just doesn't play as well on a Game Boy. The music's not as good. That was the one thing, these games did have remastered soundtracks, but I don't know, man. Just I just feel like they could have did more with it instead of just just pixel them up and then.
Yeah, and you see all these other expensive, they're giving the Mana franchise this big,
big fucking new code. Well, I mean, they re-released a fucking. Mana's always been a fucking weird series for me. It's there's some of them that I really like, but man, I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 of them don't stick the landing, Mike. Why are they trying to revive this?
I have no idea.
Dead series.
No idea. It's so weird to me.
They're okay, so Seiken Densetsu 3, well, that's the name of the game in Japan, right. Seiken Densetsu. Okay, so we only got Secret of Mana. Eric used to have the original one, I think, on Game Boy, which was called Final Fantasy on Game Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy Legend, right?
Adventure, I think.
Yeah, and that game was fucking good when they released it for the Game Boy Advance. It was like playing Legend of Mana without every other hit you do missing. It's hit detection was existent in that game, but and then I guess they came out with Seiken Densetsu 3 in Japan, and then ROM people made a translation patch, blah blah blah. People knew about it for years, decades, and they're like, oh yeah, well let's dig this fucking corpse out of the coffers and put a new coat of paint. What's fucked up is they released that Mana collection with all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then they released a completely polished, renewed version of, the game we never got.
Which was poo-poo, I heard.
I never played it. I was already pissed that I bought the collection, and then you gave me a new version of the game that I kind of bought the collection for. Now I'm just going back in time, why I'm upset with Square and
Where's
God. damn it. I was like, I wasn't expecting to get this. Like, I was like, oh,
You
my
can
list
almost
is a
have
little
a
bit
full
more.
list of Square on here.
I guess I'm covering the video game aspect. You guys talked more about TV and shit.
No, Kayla's gonna have 5 different Square disappointments. I think. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
Square just said
Sure.
they think their problem is releasing too many budget games, right? Like they just want to start just doing bigger ones, and that's it.
I don't know, man. Just make them
Great.
good. It's like, give me one game a year and just make it really fucking good. I'll probably be all
Hear that,
right.
Marvel?
Say now that's what their problem
Talking
is.
about more
That's
than
true.
games.
It's like, fuck, man. It's like, I don't need that much shit.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, Pixel
Kayla.
Good list.
You're
My turn.
You're the last one.
My turn.
Fuck them up.
We've got some Marvel. We've got some Marvel.
Yeah, we do.
Ant-Man, Quantumania, just straight trash.
Oh.
Not
love
only
you, Paul
is it
Rudd.
super disappointing, of course, what happens with Jonathan Majors, but that movie, even without that hanging over it, is just not an Ant-Man movie. It's a Michelle Pfeiffer movie. I think you like the best part of Ant-Man is just its charming, funny Paul Ruddness, and you don't give him time to do that and develop his relationships and deliver.
The crew's
And
not
so-
there either, like his buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All the heart is gone in this movie, so it's just no good.
Was this contract like coming up or something? Was that it?
I think they're kind of all in on Ant-Man, really, but
Okay,
It's-
no, I'm just saying. It's
Well,
like
there's
same-
so many Ant-Men. There's his daughter, his daddy, his girlfriend, his
bald-headed granny.
all of them. There's just too many. Doesn't work.
Ugh.
More Marvel.
Agreed.
Secret
Ooh.
Invasion.
Hey,
Oof.
3-time champ.
Get
Secret
'em.
Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Put that one on the board.
I think it had a lot of really good performances, but it just didn't need Amelia Clark. Pretty much, I feel like it would have been better without her in it at
Nothing
all.
needs Amelia Clark.
Damn.
It's kind of
I don't hate her. I don't
right?
hate
I
her.
do. I do.
Damn.
Saying it.
Yeah, Mike said he'd fight her. He put it on the internet. It was
Fuck 'em up.
Yep.
And it's so weird to
I'm
have
just listening
like
too. So
Secret Invasion with Fury, and then also in the same year have the Marvels with Fury. It's just
Yeah.
kind of weird timing. Like I liked Eric's thought on that. Just like not the right time for Secret Invasion. I would have liked to see something different. So Secret Invasion.
yeah.
Sure.
Locked in.
Next, I have another film that I was pretty excited for. I mean, you tell me you're taking Adam Driver and dinosaurs
I knew it.
and
More
cool
like Adam Can't Driver.
guns. Just it sounded so. Oh my god! I thought I was gonna get like Returnal with Adam Driver.
Right.
And
yeah.
it was gonna be fucking cool. And God, what's the girl's name? Who's fucking everybody? She's in Barbie, the little girl. She's Gamora. She's in this movie. She's
Phrasing.
I don't like
Ahsoka.
her.
One. Yeah, what is
Gold
her
G,
name?
Ashley G, something like Ariana Goldblatts or
Ariana Gold. Yeah.
Ariana Grande. Got
Greenblatt. Ariana Greenblatt.
Greenblatt. Yeah,
Greenblatt,
she's
yeah.
everybody. She's everywhere. And so like I trust that she can I mean, she's always a child actor that doesn't get a lot of screen time, but like I felt like, oh, okay, this is gonna be her opportunity to do some more stuff, and they just don't let her do anything. It was just
Like a non-speaking role for her, basically, right?
pretty. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
speak the same language.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But even
Man,
then, so you have like the like tall sexy, handsome, save you, help you, Adam Driver.
He's 6'5".
Who's a great, who's a great actor, and like, oh, it's gonna be great. I want to see him in an active role. Like Kylo Ren was the most like physical fighting. Well, I guess I've seen him flourish, and I want to see more flourishing.
Yeah.
And I thought this was gonna be that opportunity. It was not, and I think it was because like the movie was PG, I guess. So like,
That's
I don't know.
PG-13, yeah.
Oof.
PG-13. I watched Indiana Jones yesterday, and let me tell you, they get away with a lot of stuff. I could have seen some stuff in 65.
You wanted to
sad.
see his driver. Oh, I see.
did.
Okay, you wanted to see.
I wouldn't look away.
At least in some gray sweatpants.
You were gonna tell me he was always
Warm
in
bed.
not gray sweatpants, living by himself on the spaceship. He was in sweatpants.
This is the thing.
Oh, it
He's
is.
from the future. There's no gray sweatpants in the future, and he's
Sounds like hell.
on spoilers for 65. It's set 65 million years ago. There's no gray sweatpants in dinosaur times. Come on,
There's
people.
no pants.
There's no pants.
Kayla wanted no pants.
even better.
Well,
even better.
he's
I
got
mean-
How
space
do dinosaurs
pants.
show their packages?
If Chrono Trigger taught me anything, there were no gray sweatpants in 65 million BC. So
Exactly.
Well,
Right.
it
Grass
just had
skirts or
all
nothing.
the. It just sounded so cool, and it was just very much a PG-13 movie, and I was very sad, disappointed.
All movies should be R. I agree.
Yes.
yes.
MC-17 or nothing.
Another repeat.
Eyes wide shut.
I got Starfield.
Oh.
Just put it up there.
My biggest complaint with it will be like kind of what Eric said earlier. It just doesn't end. I don't like when like the main story is 500 hours. I want to be able to get the bread and butter, like all the optional stuff. The side stuff should be optional. Side can add
Cool.
to it and definitely make it better, but I wanted to at least be able to get through the main story. And it did the thing too where like there are lots of planets that you can explore, but just like some ore that you mine that you don't really even understand how to mine it or what it does or how to use it on your spaceship crafting, and
Unobtainium.
you just don't really understand how to do anything in this game. And there's not really a lot to do in this game. It does have some cool moments, but it just was too like vacant.
It
And
should have
there's
added
so
like
much hype for it, man.
Yeah.
they should have added
And
a
of course
planet.
there'd be hype. I had hype. Oh, I will say though, what I really liked about Starfield was like the patchwork art. Oh, that stuff was just so satisfying. Just so cute.
I think the art of the game is what holds
Like
it up in general.
the-
but-
The
But is it
marketing
a
of
game?
it, the colors. I love them.
Is it a game?
Starfield?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, does it play well? Like, that's what I'm hearing.
It plays just like any other Bethesda game.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just- so, I don't know, man. It's like, I felt like with the other Bethesda games, like, you didn't have to do any of the side crap to get the main story, at least, right?
Right.
So,
And the side stuff was a lot more fun, even still. Like, this stuff just wasn't very
Thieves Guild.
fulfilling.
Or
Yeah.
what?
It's usually the best stuff in Bethesda RPG
Right.
is the side stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I never even really know what the main story is in Bethesda game.
Right.
That's
I can't say
Morrowind.
that I've ever actually even finished a main story in the Bethesda games because the side stuff's too much.
In
Good-
Oblivion,
too
good.
I
Skyrim,
finished
people don't play-
Oblivion.
Yeah.
Mainly Oblivion because I think I was borrowing it from Josh. So I had to give it back.
There's a time limit. But like the main characters can't die in Oblivion or Skyrim, but in
Yep.
Morrowind, if you kill the wrong person, there's just a thing pops up that says like the thread of fate has been severed. You have to restart your game if you want to continue the story.
Whoa.
Ow.
Um,
I mean,
Well-
sever that thread, baby.
My last one is another double up with Brian. Is The Witcher.
Oh,
Man.
yeah, Witcher season 3.
Ryan was on point this
Man.
year.
Witcher season 1 so good. Witcher season 2 not terrible. Witcher season 3 though it's more of a specific thing. Whereas like we know Henry Cavill's not coming back, and they had an opportunity. They fucking Leia'd us. They shot Leia out of a ship. They killed Geralt, and then they brought him back just to send him off into. Like, the final scene is him, like, walking into the forest, and it's like, what motherfucker are we? You had, like, such an opportunity to pass the torch to be like, oh, well, we know we're not getting Henry Cavill back, and it's gonna go on to Ciri. She's gonna be the Witcher now. Like, you could have done that, but you didn't, and it's just, I don't know what, like, they're still supposed to be making it. What the, like...
Ball.
It did not set it up for like me thinking that they have an idea of what they're doing.
Would you be happy if they replaced Henry Cavill with Adam Driver in gray sweatpants?
That's
Oh,
it's fun
boy.
to think about. I'll spend some time with that thought. How about that?
I know that show could do what you want.
There's lots of tub scenes, you know. Henry Cavill's also nice.
You
Very
don't-
odd.
you don't need the
being
sweatpants.
in a tub in sweatpants.
That
I
I
don't need
want.
sweatpants.
No. Tub and sweatpants.
Leave them on.
Leave them on.
Witchers are into some weird shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 3 double ups at this point. We've got Secret Invasion, we've got Starfield, and we've got Witcher season 3. I will at least mirror some of the things about season 3. I think it was kind of a mess, and going into it knowing kind of probably the best part of the series is no longer going to be
best
part of it. Yeah, was just a downer just going into it, and the season did nothing to like make that any better in any way.
I know.
So
Part of the reason that he wanted to leave was that they were like not following true to the story, which I'm actually rereading the books right now, and you can see where it does part. And he wanted to stay true because Henry Cavill's a fan. He's dedicated to his role, and they weren't following through, so he left.
Left for Warhammer.
Ooh.
So for me,
Right.
So we got Secret Invasion, we got Starfield, and we got Witcher season 3. Normally, when we have like double ups or triple ups, we try to keep those because they represent the pod as a whole. Did anyone else play Final Fantasy 16 at all?
I heard that it was really bad.
Yeah.
So
Aaron's
I
argument
didn't.
was pretty.
I like having that one
strong,
on it.
For
I know
me,
Ryan really liked it.
I think Ryan did really dig it. The thing that, like, I mean, when you were telling me early on that it just, like, isn't an RPG, and then I heard a lot of other people kind of saying very similar things on podcasts and reviews
super
and stuff.
linear and
Like, I go to Final Fantasy games to play an RPG, you know, not to play a Devil May Cry-esque game or something. But
It's a good point.
it's okay.
Well, what about putting it at 5?
That's okay. Yeah, let's put it at 5 for now. See what that looks like.
Tentatively.
Well, that's 4, I guess, because we don't have a
5 yet.
But anyway, what do we think? I thought Mike's argument for what was it? The Microsoft waves the white flag created a lot of interesting discussion. Even though I'm still on Microsoft's side, I'm still part of that.
Fanboy.
I'm still a little bit, but
Still got the subscription.
But you know, I think Mike's right. Like they're trying to zag, and so far, there's no signs that like it's working. I don't know. You know, like.
Quick question, Eric. What browser are you using?
he's a big man.
What is that? Edge. I have
Is that
Edge
Edge?
down there. Yeah. I do use Edge. Yeah, I guess I use Edge.
I like layoffs as well.
That's sad. It's just That's really disappointing. Like just in general.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think we all got a little passionate about just saying "fuck you" to the big wigs
Well,
up
and it's
top.
one of those, like the layoffs is one of those things, kind of like the strikes, where the ramifications, like the long term, we're going to be feeling it for like years
Yep.
and years and years. In a
Yeah,
lot of
the
ways.
paying consumers.
Yeah. So that'll be rough. And so will all those people, like the tens of thousands of people who lost their jobs, or many of them will never work in the video game industry again, and we will be worse off for it. So that is the thing. Anything else? Marvel in general? I think we all have a lot of strong thoughts about where Marvel is right now, where the MCU is. I think that's a contender for me. I'll send it up the ladder here.
Yay.
I want to at least note that I wrote Fire Emblem in Gag Me with a Spoon. Because I had to.
Pretty good.
I remember early on in the year, or even throughout the year, Aaron was pretty passionate about how bad Fire Emblem Engage was, and then Tomas did kind of repeat that. So I
got the alley-oop.
Yeah.
Aaron threw it up in the middle of the year. I got the ball. That's how bad it was.
Well, yeah, and I played. It's like the beginning of the year I played it. I think so.
I think you ended up probably replaying the better game. Was it Three Houses?
I've got probably over 1,000.
Ironically, it helped you. Fire Emblem Engage helped you win the 2023 video game draft. But
oh man,
that's sad.
That's funny. So okay, Secret Invasion, Starfield, Witcher 3 locked in. Probably Final Fantasy 16 locked in. And then we're maybe just looking for
Mass layoffs.
Mass
I like
layoffs.
layoffs.
I'm laying on.
What do we think?
No, I was just gonna say that like we already got Secret Invasion representing Marvel, so
True. It's the It is kind of the poster boy for Marvel's fucking terrible.
I think 3 of you said that. So.
Do we like and most disappointing Secret Invasion, Starfield, The Witcher Season 3, Final Fantasy 16, and mass layoffs in the games industry?
I'm pretty good at me. It's like Final Fantasy 16. Aaron and like Ryan trounced it so hard that I didn't even buy it.
Well, Ryan, I know like, when we first started, Ryan was like their biggest cheerleader.
He was their cheerleader, and then he
filled up our chat so much with
when he got disappointed. Yeah, and then like his shit bricked on him. And then he couldn't figure out how to. He couldn't figure out how to.
Oh
yeah, he couldn't figure out how to fucking like get the game to work anymore. And that was on hardware. That was on a PlayStation. It wasn't like it was on his super computer fighting robot that he has in his house. Like couldn't even run on like just fucking a fucking console. So.
All right, that's it. We're locking it in for most disappointing of 2023, Secret Invasion, Starfield, The Witcher Season 3, Final Fantasy 16, and mass layoffs in the games industry. That makes you feel great, right, guys? To start with most disappointing.
I'm depressed.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Let's go into good stuff, right?
That was like that.
Let's do it.
That was like what I would imagine a Festivus airing of grievances would probably be.
You gotta eat your veggies before desserts. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess.
I love vegetables. I don't even eat dessert.
Damn. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with that.
Good stuff. I'm gonna start with Ryan's list while you do that. He nominated Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. He did that in previous NOTYs as well.
He's on the bracket.
He loves and the bracket of nonsense. Thorfinn is a mainstay of the podcast somehow. Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Ryan also
a new
nominated,
patron saint. Thorfinn.
Also nominated Bella from Poor Things.
Twilight.
Yeah. Well, it's the same character. Most people don't know. Poor Things is just a sequel
She
try.
lost all her money.
Yep. 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 That's what Poor Things is about.
Haven't
Ken,
been able to see that yet. Poor Things.
I'm surprised it's in like local theaters. Poor Things. I've heard it's hard to find in some areas.
I mean, it might not be anymore. That was like a couple weeks ago.
That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Ryan, whoa, that was a weird way to say Ryan. Ryan also nominated Ken from Barbie.
It's a good one.
Good nomination there. Ken is great. Also, I'm gonna have some issues with this one, but Lae'zel from Baldur's Gate 3.
She's the fucking worst.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Aaron. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I don't know why.
She's the most
like
disagreeable
Lae'zel.
character. Who could do everything she wants, and she's so disagreeable still.
I will give. So I will give. Like it's more so her race of characters. I think the.
Oh, you're a racist.
Whoa.
no. I think the
Githyanki.
Baldur's Gate.
The Githyanki race is really cool, guys.
Oh, I bet.
I
Yeah, but
think-
you have a Githyanki friend too, so you can't be racist.
yeah, I do. Yeah, you know, most of my best friends are Githyanki. Yeah. Yeah. No. Lae'zel, I'm already voting that one down because I think she's a big old wet blanket. But Ryan loves her, and
no.
I think that speaks. I'll give Ryan some credit, or I'll give Baldur's Gate 3 more so credit. It is a very like you're gonna have your own story. Like everyone's gonna have their own story. There's so much variability in like how the characters can be shaped. So it's I suppose there's an alternate like playthrough of that game where Lae'zel's just fucking cool, but
I've done.
Is that naked orc chick he's always posting?
that is the naked orc that he's always posting. Yes.
I've done 3 playthroughs now, and none of my choices ever align with the Githyanki. I think my next playthrough is going to be a Githyanki playthrough where I just side with them on everything, which I can only assume is going to make everybody hate me because they have the worst decisions. But
Yeah,
I guess that's what to do.
Yeah, I agree. I'll start because actually I probably should have done that because that's how it was in my Discord. And anyway, so I'll start after Ryan. Tomas, I think you might have missed. He did Thorfinn, he did Bella, and he did Ken from Bari Belda from Poor Things, not from Twilight. We confirmed.
I didn't. You didn't do Ken from Street Fighter 6.
No, surprisingly,
Same Ken.
yeah, same Ken. Just like Bella is the same from Twilight Saga.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. My best characters of 2023. Number 5, Chai from Hi-Fi Rush. He's kind of your basic ass. I think like people have called him like a himbo and stuff like that. But I think he's kind of one of the best instances of a character like that. He's kind of like a lovable goof, like a Fry from Futurama, a Goku from Dragon Ball or something like that.
We don't like Goku.
But he's just like I like his character design. First off, I love like minor spoilers for Hi-Fi Rush if anyone cares. He gets an iPod like grafted into his body and his soul. I like his character design. I like his weapon is like this weird. He's got magnetic powers where he creates like guitars out of various pieces and parts, like metal. He's kind of Magneto. He's just pleasant in a lot of ways, and just a really goofy.
Very agreeable.
He's very and I think he's in a game with a fun ensemble, a game that I would have nominated for best ensemble. I think Chai is a lot of fun. So that's Chai, the main character from Hi-Fi Rush. Next,
All I heard was Magneto.
yeah, he's. Next is Izzy Hands from Our Flag Means Death. I almost nominated him in this category in previous NOTYs. I really liked the arc that he went on in season 2 of Our Flag Means Death. Let's say it's a very full arc, and I think that dude, Con O'Neill, is the actor. He's got such a unique like presence. His voice is very odd. He gets to sing. He has a musical part in this season, and I did a little digging, and he's done like musicals and stuff. He's like a stage actor, and I just think
like an opera singer or something, didn't he say?
He's like classically trained and stuff, so it makes a lot of sense now. He's got a really nice voice, and I think he's got a really great arc in this season, and what's probably going to be our final season of Our Flag Means Death after 2 years. No. So I think Izzy Hands, big fan. And my next one, as I type here, is Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3. In a game where, like, there's huge cast of characters, lots of side characters, lots of choice in how you, like, go about different characters, I think Karlach just shines in a way that a lot of the other ones don't. I could kind of take or leave a lot of the characters in Baldur's Gate 3. Love the game, but, like, kind of could take or leave a lot of the storylines and stuff. Karlach could just consistently, she's cool. She has like a really thought-provoking kind of like story arc, her background and everything else, and some of the like final choices you can make near the end, and kind of where she ends up in the world is really really awesome. I love the like Karlach ending that I got, at least in my and Kayla's playthrough, and she's got a cool ass character design as well. If you haven't seen her, she's just this beast of a. Is she a tiefling? I don't exactly. Yeah. Okay, but she's been like experimented on too, so she's kind of like a cyborg in a sense. Like she's got an infernal engine that's really weird. She's got a lot of really cool like design choices about her.
She's got the best lines too. It's just so
Really?
you feel good when you call her into battle.
And and she's also pretty much like one of my favorites to play with as well. Like she's just really useful as a battle as a fighter as well. My number 2 is Sam Lake. The creator and overall kind of mind behind the Remedy connected universe, who like literally is inside of Alan Wake 2. He not only did the motion capture and facial capture for Alex Casey, the character Sam Lake, the person, is also, it's meta as fuck, but he's also in the game. So you could see Sam Lake quite a bit in Alan Wake 2, singing, dancing, and generally just being a joy of a human being. Sam Lake is my second favorite character of 2023. Also, he's a great interview. He's a lot of fun. Miles Morales. I'm cheating a little bit here. We got 2 Miles Moraleses, and I'm not saying which one because they're both just near and dear to me in my heart. We got Spider-Verse Miles Morales, Across the Spider-Verse this year, and we also got Miles Morales in Spider-Man 2. In so many ways, it's really the same kind of depiction. We got a different voice actor in both. But
very hard to separate them.
It's incredibly hard for me to separate them. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to say Miles Morales is my favorite character of 2023.
Miles per hour Morales.
Yes, yeah. He's wonderful. He is my Spider-Man now. So, Aaron, you're next in my window.
All right. Mine aren't in any particular order. I also just kind of put characters I like, put a ton of thought into it, like you guys did. I liked Scuva Skiu from Star Wars Survivor or Jedi Survivor
Big fan.
because he's really funny.
Who was
Uva Steve.
I have Superfly from Mutant Mayhem.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
He was really cool.
He is good.
No Ray Fillet.
He wasn't really in it though. Like he
I
had
know.
a couple of lines.
It was a really good rogues gallery.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Get that little
something.
alien that runs on the wall and no one will save you.
Mm.
I love that part. That is so cool. It was scary, so I like that alien.
sick alien?
Yeah. I don't know why I like him so much.
Loved the alien design in general in that movie. Big fan.
Yeah, I like the different like evolutions of it. And,
Yeah.
Zach from Abbott Elementary, which is Jacob's boyfriend. He's just so funny. I just love him. And then
Joe.
Good show.
and then George from the show Fisk.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's such a good show.
It is. It's so good. I love George so much.
I'm having trouble spelling fucking George. From what show is that?
Fisk.
F-I-S-K.
Fisk.
It's a lawyer drama.
Oh,
No, it's not a
Wilson
drama.
Fisk
It's
show.
a comedy.
Yeah. The Wilson Fisk show.
It's
It's
about
funny.
a probate lawyer in Australia. It's really funny.
Okay.
But those are my characters.
George from Fisk. I like it. I like it.
I want more Fisk. I've watched.
There's a new. We just finished the second season. We're like, okay, when's the third one coming out? It turns out the second
Fourth
season
one's-
just came out, so next year.
Yeah, but man, it's just one of those weird ones I stumbled upon. I think because I watched Great British Bake Off, it pops
Right.
up like that. And I used
so
to.
good.
I watched Kath and Kim also, so I was like, gives me all the Australian fucking suggestions. Good show.
Love it. Fisk. Mike, what do you got?
All right. Number 5, I have Miles Morales.
Hey.
And I was almost a coward
There
like
you go.
Eric. But I am going to pick Across the Spider-Verse Miles.
There you go.
Mainly for that huge chase scene, and I don't want to. I almost had this in moments. I didn't ultimately spoil my list, but just that. Nah, I'm going to do my own thing. Like that choice that he makes really stuck with me. As like, man, that was cool as fuck. Like, and yeah, I just love all the scenes with his parents, all the scenes with him in the spot. Just a great character. The Miles in Spider-Man 2, the game is great as well, but I'll go with the movie version for sure. My number 4 is Philomena Kunk, played by Diane Morgan. She has from the show Kunk on Earth. And it is basically just like world history for dummies type of thing that she's going on, an odyssey through the history of the world. And she's doing one of those like Daily Show type things where you're doing interviews with people who are,
real experts.
these extremely expert people on like, the most important things. And she's really just, pulling their leg the whole time. And she's my favorite version of that I've ever seen. I thought she was really, really great at it. And never seen her in. I know she's in a lot of like BBC stuff, and want to check out more of her work. Diane Morgan. Number 3, I have Big Hill from Reservoir Dogs, played by Zahn McClarnon, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just on a show full of great characters, I thought, and this is the final season of Res Dogs. I thought, I don't know. Big just seems like he just came away as the heart of the show almost for me after this one.
There's those flashback like scenes and shit with
Yeah, right.
We got a
And,
lot of Zahn this year. We had him in
So much.
Reservation
He's
Dogs.
everywhere.
He was in Nocturne and in Echo as well.
Oh, that's right. He's like the main, the one cool bad dude. Yeah,
Yeah, he's the native
Very good.
vampire. Yeah.
yeah.
resident native.
There's lots of them now.
Yeah,
does
there
some,
are.
there's
Good
some
rep.
great heartfelt stuff with him in this.
Yeah.
Comedic stuff as always.
Yeah.
You know, his relationship with the lady that works at the
The
clinic
lady at the desk.
it's
Like,
great.
oh.
And he's just awesome. I love him in everything that I've ever seen him in, and wanted to give him that shout out.
Big shout.
Number 2, I have Garl from Sea of Stars.
Oh yeah, Garl.
Garl's great. He's the reason why that narrative works. I think the game does a really cool thing where the two main characters they're like the MacGuffin of the whole story, but they're not really involved with it all that much. They're really more the crux of combat. Yeah. And Garl is really where the narrative shines. Every kind of obstacle or kind of, thing that next like task that, insurmountable thing they need to accomplish. Garl, just through his personality and his humanity and how great he is, similar to like a Luffy on One Piece, that he just keeps gaining these allies, gaining these friendships throughout the narrative, and he's great. He makes great sacrifices through it. He's just one of those awesome blokes. He's the best bloke,
That's good.
He is.
I love Garl.
He was on my long list. Oh yeah, all hail Garl.
Number 1 is Ken from Barbie for me, played expertly by Ryan Gosling. I think that's white guy on a podcast in his 30s talking about Barbie.
Hell yeah,
bumper up there. But I think
and Fenders
is the reason why that movie is so great.
I'll support you in that.
And I think it'll be a damn shame if Robert Downey wins Best Supporting Oscar over him. I think it should go to Gosling, and that's my list.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he got to fully just do everything, like he's the song and dance man, and he got to do it. So good Gosling. Tomas, best characters for 2023.
Let's go. All right, so I'm going to start off. I'm gonna lock in Superfly with Aaron.
Hey,
I felt like Cube just like devoured scenes in that movie. Like, yeah. I almost forgot that movie came out this year. It's like one of the 2 movies I saw. But I said all the movies I saw. All the movies I saw this year were quote unquote kid movies too. Saw Elemental. It's pretty decent.
Very good.
Saw Trolls World Tour. Not too bad. I'm gonna go with a different one from Res Dogs. I picked Willie Jack. I feel like she was the most actualized character over the kids. Kind of came into her own. More tied to her roots. The idea of like she works on this idea of like wanting to become a spiritual, I guess, leader in her community. Then there's the whole big send off at the end. That what was it? Is it Seppuku or
yeah?
Waco?
Yeah. One of the elders dies, the old medicine man, and they do this. I mean, I don't want to dip into moments. Anyways, yeah, Willie Jack. She's great.
Former Nonsense of the Year
award
winner.
What a show.
Yeah. Then I picked Queen Charlotte from Queen Charlotte. Whoop whoop. I just really liked that show. It's really good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Bridgerton rep. What up?
A lot better than Bridgerton.
Well, that's the thing. I was like watching this. I'm like, God damn. It was like fucking side character show that I was like, it's supplementary, fill in the gap between seasons. And I'm like, God, show fucking slaps hard. Yeah, and she's a real G too. So
yeah.
Stand by your man. What's up? And then I don't think I got 5, but my last one I picked Richie from The Bear.
Yeah.
Character I absolutely hated for a long time, but
I love Richie.
oh god, he was like the key point of like my anxiety watching that first season. He's so antagonistic, but like him stepping out of his own way, like in this last season, and just starting to come into his own.
His episode that he gets is so good.
So good, yeah, man.
Guys, no, no. No.
What?
My long list of most disappointing is the bear. How people liked Richie.
Wow.
You guys, we are all people. Does anybody ever just like go to 1 week of work and completely change who they are as a person and everybody likes them? Excuse me.
I did. I did 1 week. That's
No.
how I became me.
Have you cleaned forks?
Yeah, yes, I have. I am one of the people here who has worked at a restaurant.
I see. I don't take that episode as such a leap of logic like that of like, oh, of course he works for 1 week there and now he's like an expert at this thing. I just think that was always there. He always just needed.
I don't even care about the expert of work, his personality, the fact that people like him, the fact that the guy who was like showing him around and like giving him the job is like, oh man, thanks Richie, you're a real pal. Call me anytime. What the fuck? That is not the character that Richie is.
But maybe
I didn't like it.
Maybe that's the character of the people who are helping Richie out to become a better person. Because a lot of being in recovery myself, it takes a lot of patience working with new people, and you have to take that higher road in order to get that motherfucker
right?
over to that next hump.
But patience means it takes time, right?
No,
it takes
right.
time to get to these things.
Yeah, I get it. 1 week, he's not going to be a completely different person, but he was going through other shit before that too. Like a lot of his life is hitting a brick.
Away.
Huh?
That shit didn't go away in a week.
I know.
I think they did
like
really. There was an interview with the actor Eben Moss Bacharach, I think is his name.
Yes.
There was a good interview. I think it was on the Ringer, if I remember correctly. Where they did kind of acknowledge that like, yeah, no one's gonna change in a week, kind of thing. Like we had to do it for like, it's a TV show, so they had to like make that make sense in the story and everything else, but like I do think it's just like an avatar for the viewer of just like to show the Richie. I could kind of take or leave, but I think that episode and just like the lesson he does learn is pretty fucking phenomenal. Even if he would have learned it in a week.
whether or not it carries on. Like I think that like it's they give him a moment. Whether or not his character continues to stay that, probably not. I mean, look at Carmi at the end of that fucking season. He has a complete fucking catastrophic meltdown and burns everything down. And that's, to me, that's early recovery in a fucking nutshell. You're so fucking fragile that all it takes is that one little fucking thing and the whole thing goes pickety bam. And it's very possible that still might happen for Richie. But in the meantime, I'm championing my boy. Like, he did good.
Because at the beginning of the season, his house of cards is about to tumble. Like, he's trying to, like, tell Carmi, like, man, you ever just feel like a failure or whatever he's, like, saying there in the basement of the restaurant or whatever. And I think that he's trapped in that thing of the past of what the bear used to be, what the restaurant used to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everything's changing. Carmi has changed, Michael is gone, blah, 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 all of
His
this thing. And
is like
he's and it's like, no, it's time to put up or shut up about whether to be an adult or not.
Yeah.
And he makes that choice. Like, I don't think that's a choice you can make like within a week. I think I don't know.
Hey.
It'll take me more time to accept him. To trust him.
Oh no, absolutely, and that's recovery in a nutshell too. That's why we have Ellen on. It's like it's hard to trust
You got stabbed in the ass.
the perpetual fuck up to change overnight. In the eyes of everybody else around them, it doesn't happen.
I mean, if I met Olivia Colman, even just for like 5 minutes, it'd probably change my life. So
Yes,
good
point.
Right, you got me there.
Richie's my
Long
boy.
list be damned.
I'll die on this hill. Call it a hill, if you will. But yeah, I'm going out swinging for my boy Richie. But yeah, I only have 4.
That's
and
all right.
one
Put him in bold.
of them was kind of shoehorned in a little bit because I forgot about Superfly until Aaron
Superfly,
mentioned
man.
him. But yeah,
Kayla, you're last on best characters.
go ahead and say Richie.
Yeah, wouldn't that be the ultimate heel turn? Like, I actually love
So,
Richie.
Final Fantasy IX remake.
I will start at my number 5 this time.
Cool.
My number 5 is Kamala Khan because I think she is carrying Marvel at this time. I really liked the show. It was a great introduction to her. Again, what I want out of my Marvel is like fun superhero, beating up bad guys, fun action, fun quip. Like that's what that show gives you. That's what the Marvels gives you with Kamala Khan. Spoiler alert, the end credits is also like makes me giddy. I think the Marvels itself, all the best parts had Kamala Khan in them. The music is great. The battle is great. She's just a positive, like, she's bringing positivity to Marvel, and that's what we need at this point. That's the person I want to be next to. Hell yeah, Kamala Khan.
But she's too woke.
She's been woke. She's been living her Muslim female life this whole time. We're just now giving it some recognition. Kayla's woke, okay? Give me that. My eyes are open.
I really like
But also as a men fender, number 4, Ken from Barbie. He's the best part of that movie. I think as much as like Margot Robbie is fantastic, she is overshadowed by just how like charming Ken is, and I think he does a really, really good. In a really good way, he like brings to light the way that society even would look at women. It's just we're looking at it as Ken, and even the fact then they'll switch it right then and there and say like, no. It is Ken. I'm a liberated man. I know I can cry. Like, that's just so fun. And just the fact that he tries so hard to do whatever he can for Barbie, and he's just so funny. I thought I'd spend the night to do what?
Hey.
I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, it's just, oh my God. Every time I've seen that movie now 3 times, and every time I'm just so giddy. When his parts are coming up, I'm just like, oh yeah, this part's real good. This part's real good. Like, it's just so fun. Ken, number 4.
I put some gray sweatpants on that.
No. No.
Ken's got nothing down there.
It's true.
Right. He doesn't have genitals. I have all the genitals.
He's smooth, baby.
Oh, he's so good. That movie's great. But anyways, number 3, I have Rebecca Welton from Ted Lasso. I think she had a really good arc. There were some scenes in my long list that didn't quite make the cut that have her in it. She just really is accepted herself as an adult, powerful woman who doesn't need to be manipulated and pushed by a man. Hell yeah. Lady Fender after Barbie.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, Rebecca's great.
The rest of my list are all ladies. Number 2, I have Ozzy from Scavenger's Reign. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Man, she's just the baddest motherfucker. And so cool. She's by herself in this wild, wild world, except for with her like artificial intelligence, who she like comes to have a friendship with because due to the planet, it is manipulating the artificial intelligence, and that part's beautiful. She's like all by herself at points. She's with people she absolutely does not trust, and you can just like see her watching them and understanding them and planning around them. It's just a really cool show, and she's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Great pick.
Number 1, I got Karlak.
Hey, Karlak.
Karlak from Baldur's Gate. She is echoing everything that Eric said. One of the things that I really liked about Baldur's Gate, weirdly, was like the sound. Like it's such a, because there'd be times where, you know, Eric might be planning what he's doing in his shit, so I start looking at my phone, and then when it's my turn, this like sound happens with her, and all of her like power-ups, the sounds are just so satisfying, and she's so powerful. Shove a bitch all the time. She's always gonna make it successful, and she's just like, it's her, and she's just like, fuck yes. She's got her big ass weapons. I can make her giant. She's just down to fucking wreck shit. And she's just so friendly. And like, I played Dark Urge and her, and they just have like you build such a bond and such a respect with them, and you help each other out. And it's just her story is very moving. I love it. And fucking Karlak, man.
Karlak's great.
She looks like an
brawlers. You could throw people.
Ooh.
What about? I didn't throw people.
You did throw people, yeah. A couple
I
times.
did throw
people.
Yeah.
with my enraged throw.
Barbarian, and then you take Tavern Brawler as a feat, and you just throw people and things constantly. You'll kill everything around you.
I would frenzy a lot, and that would give you enraged throw, and I would throw shit.
I played her.
She's just the best. Love her.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's my 5.
Karlak. Okay, so we had quite a few double ups. We had Ken, multi-time, Miles Morales as well, Superfly and Karlak, all multiple
I like that
nominations.
list.
Those are good. Those are good.
solid.
But we still need a fifth.
We're missing a res on there.
Yeah, we're missing
I
Rez.
like putting a res on there. I almost put Willie Jack on my list, and this would have been the first season that I would have nominated her. I think she's been on our other 2 lists.
I think you're right.
At least the long lists of both of them. I thought she really came, like, hers did come full circle. Like, man, she had the choice to step up, and she did. She seeked it. She wanted it. She was looking for it. It was beautiful.
I mean, I love Willie Jack. I
Like
kind of
big,
hovered over
like-
Garl of
like
Sea of
big.
Stars. I was only
Garl's
kind of
cool.
so on Sea of Stars as a whole. Spoilers, I guess. But that game doesn't work without Garl. He's like fundamental to where the like plot goes and like some of the biggest moments.
Main characters don't have anything like without him. There's no through line to the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's at least one of the most important characters of 2023. Love Willie Jack. Would not be sad if Willie Jack made it on there. I think Sam Lake is a inspired pick. You know, no one else had the guts to do it, but no,
You did. I like the name Scuba Steve.
Yeah, he's really good. He's got a thick Scottish accent too, and you run into him and he's just kind of like a collectible guy. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's got a cool little
My vote's for Richie.
submarine thing. Richie,
I want Willie Jack.
You could say that, you know, both characters had a lot of growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things about Willie Jack that are like, at least definitely in earlier seasons, that are pretty abrasive, you know, whatever you want to say, in the same way that like Richie is abrasive and stuff. But I'm fine with Willie Jack if that's...
This is Willie Jack's last season to potentially, you know, she's doing the three-peat, right?
I like Big also. I think Big is really
like Big
good.
Big is
also.
great.
I think we haven't given him maybe some of his due in previous seasons of Reservation Dogs and stuff too.
I feel like
True.
Big has just been a part of this pod for a long time, and he needs a shout out. You know,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's great. I don't know, guys.
I spelled
what-
Ozzy's name AZI. I don't know if I looked that
Is
up.
that right? Yeah, I
Ozzy.
I think you're probably right. Ozzy.
Yeah.
Ozzy
Ozzy's
was really
pretty
good
cool, too.
Yeah,
I put
Ozzy's
her-
really
I put
good.
her up
Scavenger's
there.
Reign. People go check it out.
great show.
Kamala
check it out.
is really good as well in the Marvels. I think if
Carrying it.
Marvel has any chance
Oh,
of
yeah,
like
Marvel.
being okay in the future, I think it needs more Kamala Khan or finding other people like Kamala Khan. Guys, what do you
My
think?
vote would be Willie Jack or Richie.
Willie Jack or Richie? Aaron, you got any thoughts?
I like Kamala Khan. If I had to vote for one of the other ones, I'd say
okay.
Kamala Khan.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Tomas?
I can't choose. I put both of them on. That's what I'm saying. You guys have to decide.
Top 30.
You have to pick between two because right now there's three.
Flip a
And
coin.
you didn't put Kamala Khan on there.
Okay, so our final three that we're kind of picking against Willie Jack, Kamala Khan, Richie, is that like kind of
But
the
it seems like so far.
okay?
Well, she had
there's
somebody
so
else
many
to nominate.
Reservation Dogs things. You should probably just be one of them, right? That makes sense.
They've been represented
a thought.
in previous NOTYs. You know, Willie
I
Jack,
think they'll
Willie Jack has
continue to be
literally
represented.
won this category before, so
Hey,
so that would be a double up kind of situation.
If she deserves it, she deserves
But
it.
she deserves it.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, what a great show.
Eric,
Okay.
what do you vote
I like
for?
to see Res Dogs on as many of our lists as I can.
I'll
Do it.
then
Willie Jack.
I'll do Willie Jack then. I guess. I think.
I think you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah. Then I'll just call it. Make it simple and say Willie Jack. So our best characters are Ken from Barbie, Miles Morales from various Spider-Man properties, Superfly from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3, and Willie Jack from Reservation Dogs. That's it, folks. Day 1 of the Nonsense of the Year Awards. What a marathon it was. We did our most disappointing and best character awards for 2023. They were, in most disappointing, Secret Invasion, Starfield, Witcher Season 3, Final Fantasy 16, and the mass layoffs in the games industry. In best character, we had Ken from Barbie, Miles Morales from Spider-Man, Superfly from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3, and Willie Jack from Reservation Dogs. We will be back with day 2, and we'll get best moment, we'll get best video game, best show, and best movie of 2023. We'll see if we can fit them all in one day, or if we're doing this 3 days, folks. Stick around and see what we do. But that's the end of the episode. It'll be on YouTube in video format and all of your podcast apps. Check it out. And all right, we're getting out of here, and we're saying, see ya.
Naughty, naughty.
Naughty, naughty.
Bye.
We like body.